and this is SC2 here, back to some more Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm action, and as you guys can see, it is going to be a rematch between WhiteRa up in the top right side and down the bottom left side. It is going to be Liquid TLO. I think we all know and all love these players. I think WhiteRa is probably my most cast player on this channel. TLO is most likely my second most cast player on this channel, and probably the only reason that WhiteRa is beating him is because TLO has not started playing Heart of the Swarm until very, very recently. These are actually the very first games, I believe, that I've gotten my hands on with Liquid TLO, and if you didn't see the last game, go check it out, although be warned that my microphone settings were definitely off there. I was changing them around for the live stream, forgot to change them back, so my apologies. However, the game is still watchable. Just maybe turn the volume down a little bit. But regardless, those should be all fixed up righty-tighty. And anyways, we are going to have WhiteRa. What looks like a Forge Fast Expand here. We'll just have to see, does he go for the Nexus first? Does he go for the Forge first? Probably will not go for a Gateway first. That used to be standard back in the day, but not anymore. Again, very similar to Brood War, where we see players always going for Forge Fast Expands. It's just kind of what you do. As we do have the probe right now, going to be harassing the mineral line, although with limited success there, he does decide to go ahead and just grab a mouthful of minerals right away. Oh, TLO almost able to kill off that probe, but the probe is going to continue to be a pest. I think Huck kind of known for his Huck Ninja probes, which it takes a lot of micro, but you can actually delay mining on one mineral patch for a minute or two. It's quite frustrating for Zerg players if you micro it correctly, although really, is it actually worth it? Because if you misclick once, or if you forget to do a chrono boost, or a single pylon, or a single probe, or anything, then all of a sudden your ninja probe is really just a liability at that point. It's not really doing any good for anybody. But WhiteRa looking like he is going to go ahead and grab the Nexus first. Down it goes, and that is going to be pretty standard stuff here for the Protoss player WhiteRa, as you know, getting Nexus first is what you should do if you scout around. And you know, even if you see an earlier pool than an earlier hatchery, you can still go. Oh, is it cross only? He's asking, but you can still go for the Nexus only before getting out that Forge. WhiteRa says, I think yes, but either way, he just gave away his location, so TLO is going to be happy about that. Although, remember, Blizzard maps still utilize the high-yield expansions, which, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing in TvZ, not so much in PvZ. I don't think the high-yield expansion is going to play that big of a role. It's really once you see a Terran player land here, transfer some SCVs, drop a bunch of mules with the planetary, with tanks, turrets, and the sensor tower, that it becomes almost impossible to deny that base. But I don't think we're going to be seeing that in this game, at least not for quite some time, especially considering there's no Terran player. But we do have the cannon on the way for WhiteRa. Gateway going to be on the way as well, and there's the early third for TLO. Now, again, this isn't as early as you can get. Yes, you can do a double expand before spawning pool if you're feeling really adventurous. But since he did get the spawning pool first, and he has the queen on the way, that is obviously going to delay that tech by quite a bit. So there's the inject larva coming out, and so far looking pretty standard here for both players. As TLO, the expansion timing there is standard. WhiteRa did decide to go for Forge and then Cannon and then Cybernetics Core, so that is going to be heavily delayed. But what I'm curious about is when he's going to be getting his gas. So you can see double gas right here in the main base. This is on the earlier side of things, not the earliest you can safely go, but we could be seeing the third and fourth gases taken here relatively soon, or he could go for a big gateway play. You can do like 7 gateways off of these 2 bases if you would like, and maybe try and do a Century Immortal all in, something of that sort. However, it looks like, oh, that poor probe there, so sad, as that probe did get himself stuck, has to redeploy that pylon. Now, it's not really going to supply block him severely or anything like that, but it's just annoying because you have to cancel it and rebuild it, losing a little bit of mining time, losing a little bit of resources. But I guess technically TLO is going to be in the lead, getting first blood on that pylon without actually having to do anything, which I don't know if that still counts as first blood, but it is first minerals that have been lost. And he's going to do it again right there. He's going to plant the creep tumor. Down it goes. Now, it would be kind of cool if he actually did it like up here or something, although I don't know. Can you place it on the high ground, and does it count as too close to the minerals? I'm actually not sure, because I've never had to try placing a hatchery there. But either way, the Zergling is going to run away. He wants to try and hide the fact that he has the creep going once again here, as long as he possibly can. And I got to say, I love this from TLO. The Zealot here, though, going to be grabbing this watchtower as TLO is microing the Zergling as best he can, but the Stalker's going to clean that one out. So the actual first blood is going to be going to, wait, it looks like he did manage to kill something off there. But either way, oh no, it's because he canceled that. All right, this is confusing. There was multiple first bloods before anything actually died. It was because of the canceled hatchery. Once again, WhiteRa spotting this, probably realizing how it works out, but it's still kind of weird for a Protoss player to see that. I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing that a lot more on ladder, that's for sure. But you have to make sure to bring along the Queen for the ride. Here comes a bunch of Zerglings. Does manage to get this around. The Zealot will all but surely fall. And the Stalker, God, they're so slippery. Able to escape out of there. And the Zealot here does manage to get a kill or two. The Stalker going to be taking a little bit of damage, but he does have a reinforcing buddy here. And it looks like he will be able to clean this out. Although TLO is still out for blood, trying to take out that Stalker. It is not meant to be. Overall, about the same units lost here. That's not that big of a deal. Although TLO did lose a little bit more there. So in the long, grand scheme of things, if he is unable to get a fourth base up, that will make a big difference because WhiteRa's already going for his own third base. And does he have the double gas here? Just now getting the double gas, actually, so I'm not quite sure exactly what he wants to use this gas for. Looks like right now it's going to be more gateways to wall this off, and I believe this pylon here officially makes it a Zergling tight wall in right there. Because Zerglings, I believe, are the smallest unit in the game. The Oracle here deciding not to help out. Does turn around, though, and will clean up these kills. Remember, an interesting thing about this is Zerg players, like right there, TLO was going to be used to winning that battle, not paying attention to the battle, and focusing on something else. But now that Protoss players have air units like the Oracle, which are very good versus light units, if you look away, then you are going to end up losing those Zerglings. It does look like the Oracle here going to get a couple of kills, but it immediately runs out of energy, and this Oracle is not going to be useful anytime soon. The Zerglings up here are going to try and take out a pylon. Might actually be successful here, although they do run a little bit too close to the cannons. Never supposed to go over there. That's like in the Lion King, man. You know, someday this will all be yours, but don't go over there in that dark area. That's WhiteRa's base. And, of course, the hyenas are going to be the cannons there. But regardless, we do see another Oracle out on the field. And it's kind of interesting because Oracles now act as mobile detectors. The Revelation ability causes enemy units and structures within a target area to grant vision for 60 seconds. That is not the one that allows you to spot cloaked units. The one that's really good is Envision. Allows the Oracle to detect cloak and burrowed and hallucinated units for 30 seconds. So at this point, you don't really need observers. You just need to make sure to keep your Oracles alive. And using this does add a little bit of extra micro to your army because you have to activate the ability right there. And that's actually what he did, I believe, to be able to spot that. The animation is kind of silly. I'm wondering if they're going to add another one or not. But uses the Zealot here to clean out these creep tumors, push them all the way back as far as he possibly can. And remember, this lasts for 30 seconds. So that is more than enough time for the Zealot here to rake in those creep tumor kills. Looks like the Overseer are going to get taken out here by the Stalkers as well. So WhiteRa actually doing all the right moves so far. Might end up losing. Nope, they're pretty good versus Queens. Got to be able to kill that off. Now remember, every time you activate this ability, it drains 25 energy and then 2 energy every second. And so they're going to run out of energy almost immediately. But the DPS output from Oracles is just tremendous. That's why you saw that both those Queens died right away. They one-shot drones. They basically one-shot any light unit that Zerg is going to have right now, including those Zerglings. We do have more Swarm hosts on the way. Although we have a Nidus Swarm, actually, where's that bad boy going to be happening? Right here on the front lines. Now there's absolutely no way for WhiteRa to spot this. It doesn't give a big yellow alert like that. I was kind of hoping that maybe he was going to do it back here inside the main base. That would have been huge. Although remember, oh, the probe is actually going to spot it. But guess what? The party has already arrived. The probe going to try and do damage immediately. The Queen should probably go ahead and kill that off. But WhiteRa knows about this. He's got Oracles. He's got Void Rays. I don't know if TLO has enough Queens after losing the amount of Queens he's already lost. And also not having those proxy creep tumors go as far as he would have liked. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try and bust down these rocks right away. He doesn't have Enduring Locust just yet. That's why he decided to turn them around. As soon as he does have Enduring Locust, though, he will be able to begin putting on the pressure. There is a drone over here. Looks like he is going to start throwing down multiple Spore Crawlers here, which is exactly what we saw him do in the past. So WhiteRa has had a game to practice against this, but has he figured out the game-winning maneuver yet? To him, the option seems to be earlier carriers and the counterattack of Zealots down here. A beautiful play by WhiteRa. This is one thing you have to start doing as Protoss is lots of counterattacks. Even though you think you need every unit to engage this directly, you kind of need to do damage as well. There's the Nice Worm inside the main base as TLO doing what TLO does best, multi-prong attacks using units that you don't see nearly as much. And that looks like the Nice Worm right here is going to happen. He's got lots of units loaded inside. I know that doesn't look like much, but trust me, it is. Here comes the Swarm Host. So many Swarm Hosts. Oh my god, another Nidus Swarm as well, because why the hell not? It looks like actually all the Nidus Swarms assigned to go up there and will begin to burrow. This main base is all but dead. Even dropping some fake Zealots, he could actually hold position on the ramp there. Although I think it's going to be the majority air units at this point. And look at this, even that second Nidus Swarm could come in handy here, although he really wants to get a second wave of these Locusts to finish off this Nexus. No, the Nexus goes down anyway. The +1 attack really making a big difference here. WhiteRa trying to engage this directly, but with the Queens here, they might be able to take out those Void Rays. Not quite sure where the Queens are going. To the right side, evidently, but I think these Swarm hosts need to get inside the Night Swarm. If he ends up losing this Night Swarm, that is going to be it. He does manage to save a lot of those units. Remember, losing the head of the Night Swarm doesn't matter. It's if you lose the body and all of the heads that you will lose those units. Although TLO needs to cool his jets a little bit with these Swarm hosts and needs to start getting out some Hydralisks, which he does have the Hydrogen on the way. He's also got the Spire on the way, potentially to use for Corruptors, and this is exactly the correct move from TLO. I just fear that he may have waited too long to get anti-air because WhiteRa has got 5 carriers now, actually, with the 6th one on the way and 2 more Stargates here. So WhiteRa's still got money to burn. Yes, he lost a base, but guess what? He has another base on the way. He's got cannons already established there to defend that. Here's a nice Swarm inside the main base that does reveal to WhiteRa exactly where it is. I don't think that is actually going to finish. But you can't really cancel the Night Swarm once it starts, and you get no refund there. So that Night Swarm is going to get taken out. Not really worth unloading anything out of there. So the Night Swarm just says, hey guys, let's go. They have a very dramatic death. Not as dramatic as the Ghost death, though. The Ghost death is just like, and it's like, all right, just die already. We do have the Nexus getting taken out here, though. So WhiteRa losing 2 bases so far. Will be able to take out this Night Swarm head and the Spore Crawlers, but at the same time, his main base could take some heat, although it does look like the Oracle's got to be able to clean this one out. So TLO, if he does not start getting anti-air, he's going to be in a world of hurt because this carrier count is getting pretty substantial at this point. They do have the +1 attack as well with +2 on the way. They are at max interceptors. We do have Corruptors on the way. I don't know if it's actually going to be enough right now. 10 are on the way. Not sure if any of them spawned just yet. Nope, so 10 Corruptors. But when you have 17 Swarm hosts at this point, you have to be aggressive with them in some way, or you just have to use them in some way, because versus the Sky Toss is not going to be very good. But it does look like WhiteRa going to be moving out with this army. He's going to attempt to expand here once again, it does look like, but he's already expanded in the top center. So I got to say, considering that TLO has been doing multi-prong attacks, consistently attacking different bases at different times, he is still able to defend quite easily and more importantly, expand on the back of it. Might have to go inside that Night Swarm, and he does. Now, it's one of those situations where the Swarm hosts are cool, but they don't really do anything if your Protoss opponent doesn't have any ground units. It does look like these Locusts will time out. They have managed to kill off a couple of cannons there, which will make it more susceptible to counterattacks. But at this point in the game, WhiteRa actually stabilizing a little bit, which I'm very surprised by because TLO was so aggressive. Now at this point, TLO has got to stop making Swarm hosts, which is what he's done. He can continue to make Queens, that's okay, but more importantly, he needs Corruptors and he needs Hydralisks, which is exactly what he's going for. So far, he's making the right moves, but can he make the harassment happen? I honestly don't know at this point. I do love this, putting the Swarm hosts on the high ground, protecting them with the Corruptors and the Hydras, and then bombarding them from afar. And it's kind of an interesting thing because the Swarm hosts are a unit that basically forces an engagement, whether Protoss wants to or not. But Protoss also has a similar unit in the Tempest. Now, the Tempest doesn't have the ridiculous range that it used to have, but it still shoots very, very far and can still force a Zerg player to kind of break his contain and go for the attack right now. It does look like TLO being very aggressive here. He needs to focus down these carriers. Will be able to get 1 or 2. I don't think he has enough anti-air here, though, to kill off all of the carriers. The carriers actually managing to hold their own right now. Not something we're used to seeing versus Corruptors, and that is going to be enough. WhiteRa has done it. He has thwarted the attack, and all of a sudden it looks like TLO losing so much more in that battle than I had originally thought here. And TLO, considering he's only on 3 bases, all he can do is make a couple Hydras, but WhiteRa is on 5 bases, and he is mining off of both those bases now. Got a couple probes in gas, got a couple probes in minerals, but that's more than enough to put him way in the lead. You can see the Harvester count 87 to 61. So WhiteRa doing something similar to last game. We saw TLO also do something similar, but somewhere along the line, TLO just did not manage to expand. He wasn't able to do enough damage with the Nidus Worms, and now all of a sudden he finds himself behind. The Locusts are going to try and do enough damage to kill it off. I don't think there's enough here, though, for the first wave to kill. Oh, the last shot there manages to kill it off. But guess what? He's going to be losing all these Swarm hosts. Remember, these Oracles can use the Envision ability, which is exactly what they're doing here to chase down these Swarm hosts. And that means goodbye, Swarm hosts. You can see TLO trying to buy as much time as he can by burrowing those. And the Locusts over here might actually kill off another Nexus, and they do. That is 400 resources that WhiteRa will never get back, although he's got a lot of safety net at this point. He is way ahead, not 1,000 resources ahead, or 10,000, excuse me, but is still pretty darn far ahead at this point. Looks like WhiteRa may be able to kill off another base here, though. Is that going to be enough to even the score? It will bring it down to 3 base versus 3 base. However, WhiteRa is already mining at new locations, and the fact of the matter is that TLO does not have enough to engage us directly. There's no way those Hydras can kill off this army. It does use the prismatic alignment there, but doesn't really do anything. I guess there was a couple roaches, so might as well try and do something at this point. We do have the muscular augments on the way, but this is not looking good for TLO. I don't think he has the answer for these carriers at this point. There's just really nothing he can do here. So we're just going to go ahead and speed it up as WhiteRa going to move out with his Sky Toss army. And it's very interesting because I think if TLO wouldn't have gone for the Nidus Worms, he actually may have been able to win here because he could have bought a lot more time with those Locusts instead of losing them in the main base and moving them back and forth. And you got to remember that every time you make a Nidus Worm head, it costs a lot of money. I mean, facts are facts. They are not free, and so that means less units for your army. And there's the GG. TLO already knowing he stood no chance versus those Void Rays, especially with the prismatic alignment. WhiteRa able to clean those out, and I love how he just kind of sits and enjoys the death of those units before ending up and leaving the game. But either way, we did see a victory for WhiteRa. We also saw a victory for Liquid TLO, as I love that build from TLO, though. I don't know if it's going to be effective versus the best of the best players once the game officially launches, but for now, I don't know how to stop that build with the Proxy Creep Tumor. That is absolutely ridiculous. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.